Hey everyone, welcome back. I am here to continue on the journey of going through the unsealed documents from the Moscow Police Department from the Bryan Kohberger case. And so far, I've gone through documents 1 through 50, which is really not that much, considering I think there's like at least like 250 documents, maybe more. But I think I think it's important or good for me and maybe helpful for other people to actually like read through them like in detail and just think about them in like relation to everything else that's gone on in the case and stuff. So anyways, yeah, I am planning. So yeah, just in general, I'm ACAB True Crime. If you haven't been here before, thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't, please subscribe. It's free, and like if you like it, that's super helpful. Um, and I today I think I'm going to right now, at least I'm like house sitting right now, but they're coming back this evening, so I still have a lot of stuff that I need to do. So I think I'm gonna like, but I was really excited to come back on and just do this. So or continue doing this because I think it is going to be taking a while, obviously, with all these documents. So I think I'm going to stay on until 4, so that's like an hour and a half, and then I will come back on hopefully later tonight after I get done bringing stuff back to my place. So, and just for FYI, even though it's not necessarily like applicable here, I am a former forensic psychologist, and I think that I add a unique perspective that not a lot of other like profilers and even psychologists like within the prison system think. So, just here because I think it's important to have a greater, set of viewpoints on things. And I have spent a lot of time in forensic psychology world and been always interested in crimes and court and stuff. So, um, that is why I think this is a good place to be able to share some of my thoughts about this stuff. And I'm really into true crime too. And it kind of always has happened. So, uh, yeah, let's just jump right into, like I said, we're on document 51. Oh, actually, I've been doing this too, but I'm gonna do just like a very quick little spell. Also, I don't know if other people have been watching, but I wrote down all of the names that, or potential names that could be for the initials, like in the documents, and then I lost it, so I found it. So I have those here, so I'll be able to reference those, like going through the documents, so that'll make it nice. And for the last couple of lives, I've kind of done a little, I don't know, spell or ritual thing just to kind of help start us off, just because some of these documents I think have pretty bad juju in terms of just what they're talking about and even necessarily like maybe some of the people that were writing them. So I will do just a little, get some of the negative energy away. And I will light this little candle. And then here's just my little mantra that ChatGPT wrote for me real quick, real quick. The seal is broken, and so is the silence. I enter this space with truth as my guidance. Though my mind may wander, my purpose is clear. Let what needs to be seen rise from what's here. No harm may enter, no static may cling. I am in clarity and begin. So mote it be. All right. Just I kind of asked ChatGPT to write that and said I was a little distracted today. So hey Landon, good to see you. Welcome back. I appreciate your support. Your Yes, it's nice to see familiar faces in here. So yeah, I think you might have fallen asleep, Landon, and last night, and I just kind of like was like, wow. But I finished 1 through 50 of the documents, and now I'm on to 51. So I think I'm gonna just start getting into it again. Okay, here we go. Oh wait, I'm gonna share this. My bad. Okay, here we go. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna take this comment down just because we'll be able to see more. And then I still haven't figured out how to like have it be able to highlight without having this thing on the side. So if anyone knows how to do that, let me know. Okay, we take one sip and then we'll jump right into it. Okay, so this is by Brett Payne, and I have thoughts about Brett Payne. Like I don't like him, but December 4th, 2022, 10:35. It is the narrative initial scene response and evidence collection. So this is what Brett Payne is saying that he collected as evidence from the crime scene, right? Initial scene response and evidence collection, 157. Okay. All right, so it says item 2. We don't know what item 1 is. Foot cast, fingerprint lift. Or wait, how many of those? 5 of those. A cell phone, a laptop, a knife sheath, white blanket, blue phone, vape pen, fingerprint lift, steak knife. Like, I wonder if he just took it out of the kitchen or blood swabs, items 17 through 43. I wonder like where he took all of those. Like, I'd like to know like what their regulations or like kind of their rules are for that. Like in terms of, because I always wonder about that. Like, how do you know? Like, how do you find? They're like, oh, there was only like one piece of hair on like the victim or something. It's like really like you look. How did you know that that was like the only piece of hair? Like, how are you positive you didn't miss anything? And same with like, I guess with like blood swabs, like you could take, I mean, it sounds like this place was like a bloodbath. So it's kind of like, depending on where you were taking these samples from, it looks like he obviously took whatever 43 minus 17 is. What's that fucking, I don't know, like 30 something. No, I'm dumb. 20, 24 maybe. But that's not even that many considering how many, like, if there was 4 people that were, red rummed. Okay, disposable camera. That's fun. I wonder who has disposable cameras anymore these days. And another laptop, latex gloves. I wonder where they got those. Just like used latex gloves. Laptop, iPad, bedding, packaging, and game bags. I wonder what game bags is. Game bags, game bags. That's weird. At approximately 1600 hours on 11/13/2022, Sergeant Baker and I, this is Brett Payne, responded to 1122 King Road to assist with scene security processing. So Brett Payne doesn't show up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Upon our arrival, the ISP forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. I wonder why it was the Idaho State Police and not the Moscow Police Department. Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered 1122 King Road through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. That's like the one by the parking lot. Upon entering, I observed a small bedroom on the west side of the bottom floor. The door was ajar, and I could see a bed with covers and several other miscellaneous personal items strewn about. The room did not appear to have been occupied by anyone, as I did not see any clothes inside. Okay. I followed Officer Smith down the hall where there was a small bath. That's like a weird comment, though. Hold on, real quick. He's like, the door was ajar, and I could see a bed with covers and several other miscellaneous personal items strewn about. The room did not appear to have been occupied by anyone, as I did not see any clothes inside. So, just because, I mean, really, I don't know. That's not something that I would like. My parents' bedroom, they don't keep their clothes in there. They like keep everything in like their laundry room in the basement. So it's just like a weird thing. Like if there's a bed in there with like covers, I guess like if they're thinking like maybe a spare bedroom, I don't know. Okay, I followed Officer Schmitz down the hall where there was a small bathroom. And I followed down the hall. Next to the small bathroom to the east was what I later learned was a utility closet. This closet had a pin code style lock and was secured. Why? I looked into the bedroom on the east end of the bottom floor, which I later learned belonged to Bethany Frank. The room had normal clothes and personal items, but otherwise did not seem out of the ordinary. What? The room had normal. Okay, so apparently Brett Payne sucks at writing too. The room had normal clothes and personal items, but otherwise did not seem out of the ordinary. Why would that be out of the ordinary? That there was normal clothes and personal items. Officer Smith and I, uh, Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. The stairs ended in a small living room. There was a sectional style couch along the east and south wall of the room. There was also a small TV in a void on the northeast corner of the room. I also saw a black backpack on the floor just east of the top of the stairs. Officer Smith then directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned was Xana Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle's laying on the floor. Kernodle was laying on her back with her feet facing the east, and her head was facing west. Kernodle had thong-type underwear on and a gray sweatshirt. There was a large amount of blood on the floor around Kernodle as well. I could see numerous wounds on Kernodle's arms, hands, and face, which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Just next to Kernodle on the west wall was a small white nightstand, which appeared to have been moved as it was pushed against the wall at an odd angle. There was blood on this nightstand in various locations. I wonder if they like try to use that to like block him from getting closer to them or something. Yeah, it is freaky. The bed in Kernodle's room was situated on the south wall of the bedroom, with the head of the bed appearing to be towards the west wall. I could see a male later identified as Ethan Chapin laying on his back in the bed with some type of blanket pulled over his midsection. They both reports say midsection. Like, I wonder what that actually means. Like, how much of the midsection is it? Just his like stomach, or like between his neck, and like that's weird that he was covered up. Because they say sometimes, like when you cover someone up, that it means it's like a personal crime, or that you like the person because you want to like give them dignity, or you like don't want to look at their wounds. Let's see. Chapin's body was at an angle on the bed so that his head was up against the south wall and his feet were hanging off the bed on the north side. I could not clearly see the wounds to Chapin's head and neck area, but could see a very large amount of blood on the bed, as well as what appeared to be blood splatter on the wall next to Chapin's head and neck. Yikes. I also noticed two large cuts to the back of Chapin's legs. Oh, this is what they were talking about before when they said like sliced. Two large cuts to the back of Chapin's legs. Where? The wounds appeared to be deep into the tissue, but were difficult to see due to Ethan's body position. I wonder, something, can't you like stop people from walking? Like if you like cut someone's like here, like underneath their, I don't know if you can see that, but like, my feet are probably dirty. But whatever, like what is it called? Like the ankle, the back of the ankle, like where it leads down to your heel. Um, can't you just kind of slice that, and then doesn't that make you stop from like walking? Or maybe like behind your knee? I just would like more details. Okay. Officer Smith then took me through the house and pointed out Dylan Mortensen's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast side of the second floor of the house. Mortensen's bedroom door opened to the kitchen area as well as the staircase, which led to the third floor of the house. Upon my brief visual inspection, Mortensen's room was disheveled, but did not appear to have any blood or evidence of a struggle within. I wonder what he means by disheveled. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bathroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Goncalves' room. This room appeared neat and picked up. The only thing of note was the sheets on the bed were pulled back in a manner which suggested someone had been laying in the bed and then gotten out of it. Weird. That's weird. So was Kaylee sleeping in her bedroom and then she came in to Maddie's room or something? Um, oh yeah, that's the bonus. Landon is the feat show if you watch my channel. Just kidding. Um, yeah, that is weird though. Like I wonder who was sleeping in that bed. And also I thought that Keely had moved out the week before. Like I'd like to get more details about that too. Thanks. Um, yeah, like it's just kind of weird. Like I thought she wasn't living there anymore, and she came back this weekend. So wouldn't she have already moved out? That seems weird. Um, Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom, oh my God, shared a wall with Madison Mogan's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. The bed was situated along the north wall of the bedroom, and both females, later identified as Mogan and Goncalves, were laying on their backs with their heads towards the east and their feet towards the west, which was also the direction of the only door in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogan had numerous visible stab wounds and were covered in a significant amount of blood. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan. This is weird. Yeah, this was always shady. It says, I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. I remained in the room for a moment and then proceeded back outside. So is this his first time seeing the sheath, and he's saying like no one else has reported it? Because I don't think we see it anywhere else, like in the documents, right? I remained on scene and conducted several more thorough walkthroughs of the scene with the ISP forensics team, the Latah County coroner, and the Latah County prosecutor. Upon receipt of the search warrant prepared by Officer Nunes, the ISP forensic team, led by Detective Sergeant Darren Gilbertson, processed the scene and collected an initial 56 pieces of evidence. The ISP team turned these items over to me that evening, and I transported them to the MPD temporary evidence storage. Why was it the temporary evidence storage? On the morning of 11/14/22, I booked the items into MPD evidence with the help of, oh wait, into MPD evidence with the help of evidence custodian TS. I don't know who TS is. Yeah, I don't think I know like the. Well, why would they blank out that name? Evidence custodian? That's weird. Like, well, shouldn't all the like employees that are part of like public record stuff and court cases and evidence filing, why isn't that public record? You know? Um, then that was okay, so wait, no, this is so messed up. Oh my God, dudes. This is on December 4th. He's writing this about something from like 3 weeks beforehand. That's not cool. Dude, that's way too far away. Like I know I mentioned before, but I used to do like a lot of documentation as a forensic psychologist, like in terms of charting and just getting things documented and working in prisons and having like a shift log, but then also incident reports you have to fill out. And like I said, for an incident report, which is a little bit bigger of a deal than maybe just like a meeting with your regular like therapy client or something, like you're supposed to get it done that day before you leave work. And if you don't, that's fine. Not an incident report, not if like you're involved or you like observe, some incident or a fight go down, you have to finish that before you leave your shift from the prison. And then it gets put into like a entire shift log, like notice that goes out to like all of the staff in the prison through email. But like also then like usually you're supposed to get done all of your case notes that are just like meeting with people that aren't a huge deal like by the end of the day. But if you don't, then maybe that's okay to do like, you know, after like a couple of days, but that's not even important necessarily. Like not as important as like what you remember seeing when you walked into a really significant crime scene. This just seems super like really bad. Like to me, honestly, like if you're this shitty, I mean, this is pretty bad. I mean, I wouldn't say it's shitty enough to say that like let everyone off, but if you are like that crappy of a investigator and you're not documenting things and you're losing evidence, so you literally like can't prove things, like this case should be dropped. Like the Karen Reed shit, like they did such a crap job with like collecting evidence in that case, like what the beer pong glasses that they used to like put the ice, like the like snow into and stuff, like that's obviously super inappropriate, like if you're like a and like that's an actual police department, like I know it wasn't Boston, but it's close by. Okay, anyways, moving on. Document 52, again by Brett Payne, written on 1204 at 11:25. This is vehicle test runs and glove collections, 157. Vehicle test runs. Okay. Evidence, item 266, glove. Okay, I wonder what that's about. You guys remember that one guy that was like on the interview room? He's like, I don't want to talk smack, but like I don't watch him very often, but he found like a glove outside of like the garbage or something. I wonder when that was. But I also wonder when this was like the actual date. Oh yeah, here we go. It's on 11/24. So this could be the thing. Okay, whatever. It says evidence was taken item 266, and then narrative at approximately 1700 hours on 11/24. I took the MPD school car. What? What does that mean? What's the MPD school car? Is that like what police used for a silver Ford Fusion? So a four-door sedan, light colored. There's a lot of those in this case. And drove the route of the suspect vehicle. Okay. I drove two separate routes in front of the camera located at Blank Ridge Road, once westbound on Louder Avenue and then twice on Ridge Road, southbound and northbound. I advised the command post of the times of these runs and requested the video from the point of contact at Blank Ridge Road in order to compare the color of the test vehicle to that of the suspect vehicle. Okay. Once I completed these runs, also like I don't I feel like I guess it would be like so much more like cost to have every like officer doing things like two people at a time, like with partners and stuff. Um, this is the Idaho 4 case, and it's the Kohberger case, like the documents that just got released. Parker, is this my friend Parker? Um, but yeah, this is the Kohberger case, and he just pleaded guilty last Thursday or Wednesday, and then they had no, he pleaded like guilty 2 weeks ago, and then last week they did the sentencing, and then after that they like um released like a bunch of unsealed documents that haven't come out yet. So this is all of the documents that we have not seen at all, written by the police department, like the police officers from the Moscow Police Department. So like Lawrence Maury and Brett Payne specifically are two names that we've been seeing a lot, who I don't really like a lot. And they were actually interviewed, not interviewed, they actually testified when Judge was still overseeing the case before it moved to Boise and got taken over by Hitler. And they, um, yeah, they were like huge dips in that testimony too. And it was bullshit and it was super shady. And if you want to look back at that and review it, I actually did a couple of videos on it called like police are making up evidence in the Idaho 4 case or something. So, okay. Once I completed these runs, yeah, I think you should have two people on these runs because I don't trust Brett Payne at all. Once I completed these runs, I drove to 1122 King Road and walked the route M stated she took while on foot near the house on 11/13/22. Who's MM? Is that Madison Mogan? But who else would be MM? I also parked the MPD school car on Queen Road immediately to the east of 1122 King Road in order to observe the effects of the orange-tinted streetlights located in the area. The lights appeared to make the silver vehicle look tanner in color than it would under white streetlights. Okay. I also walked down and spoke to Officer Tesdall, who was providing scene security at this time. I spoke to Officer Tesdall for a moment and then began to walk back to my patrol vehicle. As I did so, I noticed a black glove laying in the parking lot approximately 25 feet from the front door. What? Weird. So there was two black gloves that were found outside of the house like a week after? What the hell? The glove was lying palm up and appeared to have been laying in that spot for a couple of days, as it did not have any snow on it. Well, why? That's weird that, okay. Did it snow? Because then it should have snow on it. I nudged the glove with the toe of my boot and found it was frozen to the ground. I asked Officer Tesdale for rubber gloves and his flashlight. Upon further examination, there appeared to be a dark, fluid-like substance on the glove. What, like blood? This is crazy. The substance color and consistency was consistent with dried blood. Officer Tisdall, did we know this ever? I don't think we ever knew this. Officer Tisdall provided me with an evidence bag and I collected the glove as evidence. The glove is a Polar Penguin brand glove with a rubberized palm and fingers. This type of glove is often used for concrete work. I brought the glove back to MPD and booked it into MPD evidence for submission to the state lab. The videos of the vehicle test run were later collected and added to the FBI video files for this case. Okay. So I guess he at least videotaped it. Okay, so that was December 4th, and Hathaway reviewed it, and this happened on the 24th. So again, he's like doing it 10 days later. Okay, let's move on to document 53. This is by Tyson Barrett at 12:05:22, December 5th, 22 at 10:46:01, and it is a narrative information from OCRI, which is the we already figured this out. It's like the office crime something investigation. I don't know. On 12/5/2022. Okay, at least so this dude's writing it the same day. That's good. At 12/5/22 at about 1000 hours, 1000 hours, I met with L.E. at U of I Office of Civil Rights and Investigation. Oh, that's the OCRI with L.E. I don't think I have an LE. I only have people that are friends of them, like not the people that were like investigators. Um, I provided E with a USB flash memory drive, and she downloaded information that was requested by the investigation team. I returned to the police department and gave the USB drive to MT with the FBI. Why are they blocking the FBI's names? Um, Fish, orange, wide eyes. I don't get it, Landon. Um, But this is weird. Why aren't they? I want to find out who these people are. Because why can't they say their names? Like, again, they're like people that are professionals, right? Like, why wouldn't they be able to give out their names? That seems strange. LE and MT with the FBI and the U of I office. University of Idaho Civil Rights Investigation. So that must be like a separate police department, maybe? Where'd you get it, Landon? Fish orange wide eyes. Is that like like where did you get it from? Or why did you write a message with that? Okay, so now we will go to document 53. Plowing through. Love that for us. Okay, so this is document 54, Lawrence Maury, written at 12:05 at 11:49. This is about a Tinder warrant by Goncalves. So that this is to find out. Oh, but we don't know. We don't actually find out the information. We just know that they're asking for it. But okay. On November 29th, 2022, I applied for and was granted a warrant for any data associated with Kaylee Goncalves. I'm sorry that I suck so bad. Bye, Landon. Have a good day. I might be on later, so maybe I'll see you then. Peace. Um, applied for and was granted a warrant for any data associated with Kaylee Gonzalez's Tinder account using the following identifiers: her phone number, a Yahoo email, and then a Gmail email. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 17:09 hours, the warrant was served via email at blank@match.com. Is Tinder a part of Match? On December 2nd, 2022, I received an email from NR, Senior Paralegal and Director of the Legal Department for Match Group, the parent company for Tinder. I guess that answers my question. In this email, I was directed to use the law enforcement portal and resubmit the warrant. I wonder why. No, again, like I wonder why they're blocking this person's name. On December 4th, 2022, I registered for access to the portal and received an email stating I was approved to use the portal and serve the warrant. I logged into the alert portal, which is like the law enforcement. No, I can't find it. Whatever he just said. Well, I don't know if that's right. Okay, anyways, law enforcement something portal and submitted the warrant again per R's request. On December 5th, 2022, I received an email from Tinder stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant were available to download. I logged on into the law enforcement portal and began downloading the files to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. Sorry, that's kind of distracting. Okay, so blah blah blah. I'm gonna say it again. I logged in the law enforcement portal and began downloading the files of the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at Moscow Police Department. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to Tinder, blah, 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 at Match, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. And that's Lowry, and it was signed off by Lawrence. Okay, so we know that Kaylee had Match. It's weird that I wonder what the like problem was like having to go back and forth a bunch about it though. Okay, document 55. Lawrence Maury again on 1205 at 1150. Date 12/5. On December 4th, I found, oh, this is the date Department of Labor warrant. I don't know what that's about. Okay, on December 4th, 2022, I found I had received an email forwarded to me from KW of the Idaho Department of Labor. Mhm. The email was from Michael Douglas of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. S.A. Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to the Department of Labor. The email contained a single file with the data requested pursuant to the warrant served on the Idaho Department of Labor. The file was downloaded and saved to a computer located in a secure computer forensic lab located at the Moscow Police Department. In examining the file, it showed the requested party's name, date of birth, and social security number with a corresponding screenshot of their reported income. What is this about? I completed the warrant, return receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County's prosecutor's office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to W, blah, 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 at labor.idaho.gov, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. What the fuck is this about? This is like a big question mark. If anyone knows anything about that, let me know, because Michael Douglas of the FBI, Douglas assisted in the service. Data requested pursuant to the warrant served. Well, we don't. I wonder who that was for. Department of Labor. Does the Department of Labor have information on what everyone does in the state for a job? All right, moving on to document 56. Jesus Christ, I can't believe, well, whatever. I'm just going to keep looking forward. But I can't believe there's 250 documents. That's crazy. Okay, Lawrence Maury, December 5th, 2022, 12:23. On December 4th, 2022, I found I had received an email forwarded to me from PM of Cutco Corporation, the parent company of K-Bar Knives. The email was from Michael Douglas of the FBI. S.A. Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to K-Bar. The email contained a single file with the data requested pursuant to the warrant served on K-Bar. The file was downloaded and saved onto a computer located in the secure computer forensic lab located at the Moscow Police Department. In examining the file, I located numerous individuals and companies who had purchased products matching the description in the warrant. In the state of Idaho, the following sales of 1217 knives were located. So is 1217 the like exact type of knife that K-bar was? Okay. So these are all dated from 2/9 to 2/22. Interesting. Huh. Trying to see if there's any in Washington. A lot more people in Washington. Is like Washington that much bigger than it says the following sales of 1217's keyboard sheets were also located at, this must be stores. I don't know. Okay. Other models were also listed on the return data. Oh, other models. Besides the 1217, it says these are all 1217. Says the documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to M. Blank at Kutco, as this was the originating email address associated with the document. So you're telling me that K-Bar knows where every single K-Bar knife was sold, like in the state, like in all states, no matter like who the distributor was? Like obviously they don't know the K-Bar knives that were being sold at like, like garage sales, right? That's interesting. This one might be worth going back to if we had any of the names. It's interesting that there was one in Coeur d'Alene. M-O. Interesting. Okay. On to the next document. This is 57. Lawrence Maury, written on December 5th, 2022, 12:25. Google Geofence 1 warrant. On November 18, 2022, I applied and was granted a geofence warrant for any data associated with anonymized information located within the following latitude, longitude points. Okay. SA Nick Balance with the Federal Bureau of Investigations assisted in the production and service of the warrant. On November 18, 2022, at approximately 23:30 hours, the warrant was served email at blank Google. On November 20th, SA Balance received notice the data requested pursuant to the warrant was available. The data files were downloaded to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. Based on the information received and in correlation with the cell tower records previously reviewed, 2 of the anonymous identifiers were found to be of interest. Those identifiers were anonymous identifiers. What does that mean? Would that be like like someone using like a VPN? Is that the same thing? On November 20th, 2022, I applied and was granted a warrant for any data associated with the previous identifiers, including subscriber information. Subscriber information for Wolf. SA Nick Balance with the Federal Bureau of Investigations assisted in the production and service of the warrant. On November 20th, 2022, at approximately 22:14 hours, the warrant was served email at Google at blah 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 at Google. On November 20th, 2022, SA Balance received notice the data requested pursuant to the warrant was available. The data files were downloaded to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. It was found one of the identifiers came back to the phone number of blank. I wonder if that's like significant. I completed the warrant, return receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to Google at Google, as this was the originating email associated with the documents. And that was signed off by Lawrence, and Detective Maury was the one who wrote it. Okay, 58. Lawrence Maury again on 12/5 at 12:27. The narrative is on meta warrants, so that's like Facebook stuff. This is for 11/30/22 on November 21st, 2022. I requested and was granted a warrant for Meta the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. Oh yeah, I forgot about Instagram. For the accounts associated with the following identifiers. So there's 4 Instagrams and 3 Facebooks. I wonder whose those are. Do you think that's all of the victims? On November 21st, 2022, I logged into the Meta law enforcement portal located at Facebook records and served the warrants at the following times. And it just lists 1 or 11/12, 1803, 2039, and 1820. I wonder why those were like so different at times. It's like, why wouldn't you have just done that all at once? During the service of the warrant, I found I was not able to add the phone number of blank as an identifier for JD accounts. So that must be Jack DeCoeur account. So during the service of the warrant, so one of these must be his. During the service of the warrant, I found I was not able to add the phone number of blank as an identifier for JD account. This information was not entered into the portal. I received an email from blank at recordsfacebook.com providing me with internal case number or case IDs number, a bunch of numbers. On November 30th, 2022, but blacked out. Meta sent emails stating the files were ready to download. On November 30th, I logged into the portal and downloaded the files provided pursuant to the warrant. These files were downloaded to a computer in the secure computer forensic lab at the MPD, and examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. No information was returned for the account associated with the phone number blank. I wonder who that was for. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Latah County's prosecutor office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to Meta, whatever, at Records Facebook, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. And that was signed off on December 5th. Okay, document 59. Lawrence Murray again on 12/5. Victim phone extractions. On November, this was written again like 2 weeks later from these case notes. On November 15th, 2022, I contacted Detective David Taylor of the Coeur d'Alene Police Department with a request for an emergency assist. I requested assistance unlocking the cell phones of Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogan, Dana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, the victims in this case. So this was like 2 days after. This was on Monday after the Red Rooms. The victims in this case, I emailed Detective Taylor a copy of the signed warrant describing the phones as being searchable. On November 16th, 2022, the phones were transported to the CDA Police Department for a forensic brute force attempt to unlock them. However, Detective Taylor stated he was not able to extract any information from the locked phones, and the phones were not supported for the brute force PIN code extraction. The phones were then returned to the Moscow Police Department on November 17th, 2022. So it sounds like he asked Coeur d'Alene to help them out with getting the information off of them, and they were like, we can't. I then asked for assistance from Captain Tyson Barrett in attempting to gain PIN codes from family members to access the data on the devices. I was provided PIN codes for Mogan, Kernodle, and Chapin, which successfully unlocked the devices. The PIN codes provided for Concalva's phone did not unlock the device. That's interesting, kind of. But they wouldn't know what the PIN would be. She's the one that seems the closest with their family. On the 3 devices I was able to unlock, I performed advanced logical extractions on the devices at the Moscow Police Department. A report for each device will be completed separately. Really? I hope we read that then. On November 20th, 2022, I again requested the assistance of Detective Taylor in gaining a full file system extraction on the 3 unlocked devices. The phones were delivered to CDA Police Department on November 21st, 2022. On November 22nd, 2022, Detective Taylor stated he would not be able to complete the extractions. Why not? On November 23, 2022, I went to the CDA Police Department and picked up the phones. I then took them to the Post Falls Police Department and spoke with Detective Neil Uhrig. Detective Uhrig informed me his forensic tools would not support a full file system extraction. What the hell? On November 25th, 2022, I went to the Walla Walla Police Department and spoke with Detective Chris Ruchert. Detective Ruchert stated her forensic tools would be able to support full file system extraction on the unlocked devices and would be able to complete limited extraction on Goncalves' locked phone. I left the phones with Detective Ruchert to be extracted. On November 28th, 2022, Detective Ruchert informed me the phone extractions were complete and ready to be picked up. On November 29th, 2022, Detective Justin Dean picked up the phones and returned them to the Moscow Police Department. I received the four devices and placed them in the secure computer forensic lab. The extracted data was copied to the forensic computers and verified by hash values. Um, huh? An examination of the data will be completed at my earliest convenience. And that is again Maury and Lawrence. That's not weird. All right, 60. Warrant Yahoo Goncalves. This is dated December 4th, 2022. On December 1st, 2022, I applied and was granted a warrant for any data associated with Kaylee Gonzalez's Yahoo account using the following identifiers. Blah, 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 at yahoo.com. This is blacked out again. On December 1st, 2022, at approximately 13:55, the warrant was served via the Yahoo law enforcement portal located at lawenforcementrequest.old.com. On December 4th, 2022, I received an email from Yahoo stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant were available to download. I received an email with a link to download the data. I logged into the law enforcement portal and began downloading the files to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. I completed the warrant, return receipt, and affidavit. These documents were sent to the Lehigh County's prosecutor's office and returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipt to KV, whatever, at yahooinc.com, as this was the originating email address associated with the documents. Again, reviewed by Lawrence and signed off by Mari, and vice versa. This is number 61. Lawrence Mari, 12/6, 14/10. This is the Verizon pen warrant. Okay. On November 22nd, 2022, I applied for and was granted a pen warrant for any data associated with the phone number blankety blank, which was linked to a possible witness, MM. Witness or victim? Who's MM? I don't see any MMs. SA Nick Balance with the Federal Bureau of Investigations assisted in the production and service of the warrant. On November 22nd, 2022, at approximately 20:26 hours, the warrant was served via fax, link, and email at sfnotifications.com. On November 22nd, 2022, SA Balance received notice the data requested pursuant to the warrant was available. The data files were downloaded to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at Moscow Police Department. The pen register trap and trace data were terminated on November 30th, 2022. Interesting. M was subsequently identified, located, and interviewed as a witness by Corporal Brett Payne. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were also sent to the Lehigh County's prosecutor office to be returned to the court. So who the fuck is M? Possible witness? Okay. Document 62. A. Dallinger. 12:08 at 2022, 10:59. Disposable camera seized and vehicle keys. A Kodak power flash disposable camera. Whose was that? People don't have disposable cameras anymore, do they? On December 7th, 2022, at approximately 1,000 hours, I don't think I've said that. I was assisting with the packing and moving of personal belongings out of the residence at 1122 King Street. I think they mean road, right? Captain Barrett and I were in the process of packing items from Kaylee Gonzalez's room on the third floor. Inside the closet, I was removing items from a black plastic 3-door organizer. In the bottom drawer, I located a Kodak power flash disposable camera and a GoPro camera in a small black zippered pouch. I was unaware if these items had been located during any of the previous searches of the residence, so I took custody of them until I could learn that information. I advised Captain Barrett of the items and showed them to him. After completing the packing and moving of personal belongings, I brought the GoPro and the Kodak camera back to the police department. Prior to leaving the residence, I also took possession of the keys to all of the vehicles belonging to the deceased. Once back at the police department, I locked the items into a temporary storage locker in the evidence processing room. I later contacted the investigative team and learned the memory card from the GoPro was seized during a previous search of the residence, so the camera itself was of no evidentiary value. I was told the Kodak disposable camera should be booked into evidence. On December 8th, 2022, I met with property coordinator TS. S assisted me in booking the Kodak camera into evidence. I then took the vehicle keys and the GoPro camera to the city shop where the rest of the personal belongings from the 1122 King Road residence were being stored. I placed the GoPro camera into one of the boxes containing Kaylee Gonzalez's belongings. I left the vehicle's keys contained in a Ziploc bag also in the storage area with the other belongings. So he is declaring that he's telling the truth, and it's reviewed by Captain Barrett. Okay. Document 63. Tyson Barrett, written 12/8/22, 13/29. Narrative: removing personal items from 1122 King Road, Captain Barrett. On 12/7/22 at about 9:45 hours, I met with MPD command staff members at 1122 King Road to package and remove personal items of the victims. Captain Dallinger and I packaged the belongings in Kaylee Gonzalez's room. I worked along the north and west sides of the room. Captain Dallinger worked along the south and east sides. While I was packing items, I noticed $125 in cash on the dresser. One $100 bill, one $10 bill, two $5 bills, and five $1 bills. Captain Dollinger and I both counted the money, and I put it in a small clutch. I placed the clutch in one of the boxes and marked the box that had cash in it. Captain Dollinger and I both initialed the box. After all the personal items that were recoverable were packaged, we moved them to a U-Haul van and transported them to the Moscow City shop. At the shop, we unloaded the packages into a secured building. And that was Captain Barrett, and then Captain Dollinger signed off for that. Okay. Document number 64, Lawrence Maury, Tinder warrant users. On December 8th, 2022 at 14:38, but this says it was for 12/5. So it says on December 6th, 2022, I applied and was granted a warrant for the user subscriber information associated with the accounts that communicated with Kaylee Gonzalez's Tinder accounts using the following identifiers. Okay. So that must be all the dudes that she was like sending DMs to in Snapchat, or not in Snapchat, in Tinder, and then they must have also been like, two of them must have been associated with Snapchat. On December 6, 2022, at approximately 15:19 hours, the warrant was served via the law enforcement portal. On December 7th, 2022, I received an email from Tinder stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant were available to download. I logged into the law enforcement portal and began downloading the files to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were sent to Leta County Prosecutor Office to be returned to the court. I also emailed a copy of the receipts to Tinder, blah, 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 at Match as this was the originating email address associated with documents, and that's Lauren Samari again. 65. Lauren, Lauren Samari again. December 8th, 2022 at 14:39, and it's a Tinder warrant for Maddie Mogan. On December 6th, 2022, I applied and was granted a warrant for the user subscriber information associated with the Tinder account of Maddie Madison Mogan with the following identifiers: blank at Gmail and/or phone number. On December 6th, 2022, at approximately 15:19 hours, the warrant was served via law enforcement portal. On December 7th, I received an email from Tinder stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant were available to download. I logged into the law enforcement portal and began downloading the files to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. In reviewing the contents, I found no recent communications with other accounts. I was just going to ask that actually, because I was like, well, wasn't she dating Jake S? But maybe she had like Tinder account from forever ago, but then just hadn't been using it since she dated Jake. That sounds like the case. I completed the warrant return receipt and affidavit. These documents were saying blah blah blah. Same shit, Maury Lawrence. Okay. 66, Tyson Barrett, 12/12/22, 12/35/22. Concalves property release Captain Barrett. On 12/12/22 at about 08:30 hours, I met with the Concalves. Steve with the Concalves family. SG at the city shop. I wonder if that's Steve, but it doesn't look like it would be. It looks like it's too short for that. I had previously arranged to release Kaylee Gonzalez's personal property to G at the family's request. Who the fuck is G? A three-letter G? I unlocked the secure evidence building and we moved 22 boxes containing Kaylee's personal items that had been removed from 1122 King Road. So she was still living there. Like she hadn't moved out into G's vehicle. There wasn't enough room in the vehicle for all the items, so G made a return trip. At that point, we loaded the remaining items, 2 purple totes, a clear plastic tote, and a yellow suitcase. G signed for the items, and Officer Rosinski took a photo of his ID to attach to the form at a later date. Who the fuck is G? I secured the evidence storage building and cleared. Later that morning, I scanned the form and emailed it to G. I provided MPD records with the original property form release. And this is reviewed by Roger Lanier, and it was written by Captain Barrett. Okay, so we just stopped at just a little bit over an hour. And honestly, I'm hungry and I'm bored. So I'm going to take a break. So who knows, I might have like fucking 40 parts to this stupid series. And I wonder if I'm like wondering if this is a waste of time. Like, is it better for me to just review them and then come back on and talk about significant shit? Because honestly, I don't know what to do. But maybe there's a way I can like figure out a way to like make it not as boring as it is right now. But okay, well, I think I'm gonna for sure try to plan on coming back on here later tonight, one way or another. So I'll plan on seeing you guys then. Thanks for everyone for listening or being here. If you're not subscribed, please do. It's free. If you like it, please like the video, and peace and love. Bye.